Archbishop, in the context of recent events in Belgium, how is it possible that a bishop, who several months ago made admissions to having committed child abuse, is still now a priest? On what possible grounds is it deemed appropriate that he's not been removed from the priesthood? The question to Lord Patten.
This is the Belgian bishop?
Yes. And a question to Lord Patten. Looking back over the last few decades, what is your honest assessment of how the Catholic Church hierarchy has responded to cases of child abuse? Is shameful a word that you would use because many others would?
The Church has made a mess of its response to incidences of child abuse. And there is nothing that can be said that excuses the crimes committed by members of the clergy against children, because the damage that is done strikes right at the core of a person in their capacity to trust another, in their capacity to experience love of another, and, especially in the context of the church, in their capacity to believe in God. So the damage done by childhood abuse is very deep-rooted, and that's why it is right, and I'm glad that the bishops in Belgium give their concentrated effort to support the victims. I think what needs to be understood in the context of Belgium is there is probably quite a different relationship between the church and the civil authorities, in particular the police. You will remember some months ago that the police raided the Bishops' Conference in one of its meetings and then raided the house of Cardinal Danneels. A little while after, the court in Belgium ruled that that action was illegal, and that has not helped the proper course of justice, because my understanding is that the consequence of that is that it's more difficult now to present evidence to the court because the police acted illegally. The case of the particular bishop, he is withdrawn from all public ministry. He is not acting publicly as a priest. He has actually publicly confessed to a crime, so I would have thought the matter now rests with the police to act on that confession.
A terrible crime, and is a stain on the reputation of the Catholic Church and any other institution guilty of it. I would only add, which isn't a qualification of what I've said, but a statement of fact, that the arrangements put in place in this country by the bishops are probably a benchmark for how these issues should be dealt with elsewhere. The child protection policies and the external oversight of those child protection policies are, I think, the sort of things that others would have been well advised to have done themselves. But nothing excuses it. And I'm reluctant to suggest that I think it's occasionally possible to balance angels on pinheads. You should be meeting the head of state and head of the Catholic Church as the head of state of the United Kingdom, Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Could I just put it on a different plane? It strikes me that when the Queen and the Pope meet, there will be a spontaneous affinity between them. I mean, here are both people, two people, who have given their lives entirely in public service, both of them profoundly motivated by the Christian gospel, and both of them acting as focal points of stability and goodness in the world. Local BBC London radio station the other day, whether I would be sleeping well over these next few days. And I said, well, if I don't sleep well, it's not through worry, it's through excitement. And I think that, in a way, tells you my state of mind and of heart that we look forward very much indeed to the visit of Pope Benedict, the first ever state visit of the Pope to this country. The Catholic tradition in this country is one of actually very profound loyalty to the person of the Holy Father. And while many would want to suggest differences of trends of opinion in this way or that, I'm quite sure, and it's my experience in parish after parish, standing at the back of Westminster Cathedral day after day, is that Catholics are looking forward to this visit very much indeed, and the Catholic people in this country know what it is to show their affection and support for Pope Benedict.
Desert Island Discs, not very long ago, sounding as though he turned the page and was embracing generosity of spirit in his, we hope last, well, we don't hope, we imagine his last decades.